Right, here we go.
In
Stay.
the outhouse.
The sheep in the outhouse stay.
Mm.
They gonna eat the toilet paper. On the family's house. Well, they ain't goats. They might not eat it. Anyway, so we're looking at Leviticus 23. You are.
Mm-hmm.
You want to scroll down to where it starts talking about Atonement Day. You'll see it highlighted in orange. It's like down in verse 30 or 20 or something like that.
What they doing in that class?
Oh, they eating the toilet paper thing.
All right, I see it. 29.
Go ahead and read that first verse.
For whatever.
Oh, and they complain we ain't talking loud enough, I think. Excuse me. In the last video, they say the birds was drowning us out.
For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people.
So here we are talking about Atonement Day. So, and what we're trying to do is understand, okay, what is he talking about fitting to happen on Atonement Day that these people are going to get cut off? Okay, read the next verse.
And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people.
So this going on at the same time.
Right.
These people who are at work are going to get destroyed. And it's a solar flare. So you're putting these puzzle pieces together. How is it that a solar flare, or whatever it is coming from the sun? That's what it's going to happen. It's coming from the deposition of the sun. How is it going to cause people to perish on that day? I'm going to let you answer, because I got to answer. And mine ain't going to be nothing like yours, I promise you.
You saying these people who do not afflict their soul and who does not abstain from work? How?
Well, more so the work part, but I can throw the affliction of the soul part in there if you don't do those two things. Yeah, if you work or if you don't afflict your soul, yeah. Can you see how the sun could cause that? Or how it's possible, how that would work? Maybe not the sun cause the affliction of the soul part. That could be a little tough, way too tough. But how could the sun cause everybody who goes to work to die on that day?
Well, definitely from the people outside. You know, those who do labor work outside. I can, I think that's easy to see. But those who are inside, if there is that if that building has like central air or stuff like that, like it could cause people who are used to not being in those conditions to like start having heat attacks or
No,
stuff
some
like
of
that.
our father's people have central air, so they would be in the same situation.
I don't think I know. I don't think I would know how.
And it's tough because we thinking in one day.
Right.
What this one day event, this would have to be a flash that actually knocked people over, like it fried them or whatever. But that's not typical of a solar flare. That don't typically happen. Now you could say heart attacks and strokes. That they try to do studies on that kind of stuff. I've read the abstracts and the conclusions of those studies, and I didn't agree. I don't see. I don't see the correlation. Like they said, it lagged. The study lagged. So that's why I edited it out of my videos. And then
So what is your answer as to how the sun can cause these people
I don't know either. I don't know.
to die?
I don't know if it's a one-day event. But now, if you're talking about the prophetic fulfillment lasting a year, just like you have what we think is that it could last a whole year. Just like the prophetic fulfillment of the Feast of Tabernacles will last for 7 years. It's going to last for 7 years. So if the prophetic fulfillment of atonement lasts for a whole year, then what that's saying is that people who go in and out are exposed to the sun daily. They got to do it, got to get out there every day.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
heat load, not the heat load, but the UVC load on them over the course of that year or years, because it's 2 years in a row that they ain't supposed to work. Or ain't supposed to work. So I'm gonna go into 2.5 years, or closer to 3 years. When that we're not supposed to be out there and exposed to the sun during the most treacherous time of the sun that we're going to see. And so that could be it, that these people are exposed to the sun over these long periods of time, and then end up with something, because the scripture talks about um, illnesses that will be generated from the sun. And so you would have these people exposed to the sun, like I said, over the course of the year, because nobody's supposed to be working this year.
You're talking about working as far as continuous throughout the year, or you talking about for atonement?
No, I'm talking about the whole year. The prophetic fulfillment of atonement, the year starts in the year 2023 and lasts until the year 2025. Nobody's supposed to be working. I mean, you could work a little bit in the early parts, but nobody's supposed to be, because if you think about it, our Father's people are supposed to be husbandry. They're in the husbandry, and so no plowing or tilling of the fields or tilling to the grapes in that time. What is he doing for 2 years? He's basically, tinkering with his house and his car and his tractor and counting beans, making sure he's got enough food to last. He's not out there in the sun every day doing his thing, tilling and cultivating and doing it. So he's not working. He's basically, I mean, how much work are you doing this year compared to last year and the year before?
Yeah, sometimes I have to try to invent things to do, just because I'm like a busybody, but
Always out doing
yeah,
something.
doing stuff. But
And you have your
it's
gardens and
definitely, I would say, it's definitely probably where we would say if our gardening, took up most of our time, say it was 80% of our time. It wasn't, but it was. I would say it's, I don't know, 40, because we don't really have that the gardening work, the husbandry work, that took up a whole lot of our time. So what about if you have your own uh, business inside of your establishment or your habitation or whatever?
whatever. That's the thing. Is my point is that the way we were supposed to do things from the beginning and the way we're going to do things after this pole shift is husbandry. That shows that our Father's people, his menfolk, are supposed to be husbands. Do you know what a husband is? See, you know what a husband is? I mean, I've tried to explain to
Do
you
I know
several
what a
times.
husband or husbandry?
Husband. When I say that our main job is husbandry, okay, what is a husband?
I don't know if I necessarily know what the definition of husband is. I know what it is of husbandry,
A
but
husband it's a job. A husband is a job. When somebody say they have a husband, they have a person that takes care of their stuff. Like for instance, it's her grapes, but her husband is going to be the one to go out and take care of the grapes. He's going to take care of the this. He's going to take care of that. But and the reason why is because his focus is on a higher plane. His higher he ain't got time to worry about sheep. He ain't got time to worry, just like he ain't got time to worry to pedal and count eggs. You know what I'm saying? He gets he purchased the chickens and give the chickens to her. She says, okay, these are my chickens, and she feeds the chickens. But then she has a husband who goes out and mends the fence. He does the this, he does the that, and he takes care of this. He's basically a worker bee who's at the behest of the woman. That's what's odd about it, is that he almost literally works for her.
what did you just say? At the BS?
Behest.
Oh,
Yeah, he does what she
I
says.
thought you said at the BS
Yeah.
of the woman.
Oh yeah. No,
I'm like,
it
okay.
could be if she don't understand or she tries to take advantage of the situation. So the thing is, all of this, we about to stop growing food, and I'm gonna go get me another job. I'm gonna be a goldsmith and I'm going to make some gold, and then I'm going to sell my gold and I'm going to get me some money. And then I'm going to take that money over here and buy me some food. No, that ain't it. What nobody's supposed to be. That didn't start until Egypt. That was
Yeah.
they.
I was reading in Genesis. I think it's chapter 3, if I'm not mistaken, how it says that the Father made man and put him in the garden to take care of it and preserve it. And then it goes on to talk about how, um, one of man's curses, the curse after he gave the serpent his and Eve hers, he cursed the ground because for man, he cursed the ground, and he told the man that he would be tilling the ground and eating from the ground, until he 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 goes back into the ground. So husbandry is definitely, and throughout scripture, the people of the Father were agricultural people.
Mhm. And so the thing is, really, nobody's supposed to be out there in the sun. And so the people who are actually going to work this year could be about to catch such a heat load, or anything, shopping, whatever it is that's got you going out there, when uh, we should be sabotaging these 2 years.
But
2 years.
but throughout your time on this channel, you've always made the statement, after you said, things like you just said, that I'm not telling nobody not to get a job, not to quit your job or whatever. Do you still stand by that?
Oh no, I ain't telling nobody to get one either though. Oh man. No, no, I actually encourage people this year, if somehow you find yourself um, your employment situation starts to change, I would say take the downward path, the way out of it. If you got a choice,
Hmm.
if you
Don't go and start looking for another
yeah,
job.
no,
Somebody called. I think we was doing Blog Talk Radio. One lady had called and said, she called and said, "Would you pray for me to get a job
no,
or something like
she
that?"
said, would you do a reading? I'm
Yeah.
trying to find out what platform to be on under there, the category. And I picked spirituality because I didn't want to pick religion.
Right.
And the first thing she called is, hey, will you do a reading for me? And I'm like, what kind of reading you want? What book you want? Scripture. I read anything from scripture. What you want? That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, sure, I read anything. Sure,
Yeah.
I may be off topic.
Hmm.
And then she like, should I get a job? And I'm like, now? You asking me in
You said
2023 if you should
you
get a
said
job?
no. You told her no.
No, no, you ain't supposed to get no job. What about
You
you,
said, I'm afraid. Yeah. You basically told her, yeah, I'm afraid to do. No, I'm not. Not. I don't know
Pray.
if you. I don't remember if you said no, I'm not gonna pray, or no, I don't think you should get a job right
No,
now.
she heard the phone. I pray you get that mess out your mind talking about and get a job. If he's put you in a position right now
Right.
where you are living without a job, I mean, that's what COVID was for. I mean, that's what, all of that was for. That's why it shut down the jobs and it shut down the churches. The only people went back to work and the only people went back to jobs is a different kind of people. Those people are on a whole nother level, and that's going to be the case after this pole shift too.
So that's what you mean when you said take the lower
Yeah, on the way
thing.
out,
Don't. Yeah.
if you got a choice between, like you say, looking for another job or being without a job and drawing unemployment,
Yeah.
or taking going
Yeah.
home and work, go be the babysitter,
Or just take like you said, go home and take a babysitter. This might be that time where you actually wanted to become a stay-at-home mom. This might be your opportunity
Go get
to be a home. Well, they don't use the word stay-at-home mom anymore. They use um, uh, homemaker.
go
Make
get
the home.
go
Yeah.
get your kids out of daycare and go get your what's the name
Grandkids.
out of daycare and y'all go home and play homemakers. We all fun. We all gonna get us some little aprons and we gonna act like we playing homemakers up there. All the little kids, y'all gonna be out there chopping wood, and all the little girls, y'all be here making biscuits. We better do this thing.
Yeah, because
We about to play tribulation. Go ahead.
like you said, this will ensure that you don't get caught out there.
Yeah. So, and I believe that could be. That's the only thing that makes sense because one day blast don't make sense. And because there's people talking about this, heart attacks and this, that, and the other. And it is Atonement Day. Don't get me wrong. It is supposed to be a holocaust. There is a lot of people supposed to drop on that day. But the prophetic fulfillment, it could be 24 hours, it could be, 48 hours, or, but it could span over the course of, years. Just like the memorial blowing the trumpets. But
This sun, the shining of the sun, and the rays and stuff of the sun, this can happen um, throughout the course of the year, and that doesn't mean that there won't be no winter or all that kind of stuff. The seasons will still take place, right? Because I'm thinking about when it says, when the Father says that there will always be fall and winter, summer and spring and stuff like that. So even though it's cold, it's still the sun can still be doing this damage and stuff, right? Is that right?
the UVC,
Yeah.
yeah, give me cold. But the thing about the UVC is it's really only going to take effect after the solar flare. And when I mean solar flare, you got the CME, you got all kinds of solar activity going up there. But everybody knows the word solar flare. So when I say solar flare, I mean all that stuff coming from the sun. One of the things that it can and possibly what the keys that Enoch says is going to do is strip away part of the atmosphere. That's when we're really going to get exposed to the sun, is when the atmosphere is not blocking out the rays. Right now it's blocking out most of them.
What do you mean by atmosphere?
That those clouds up there, they and even when there's not clouds up there, there's still some, I can't remember what, but there's still some elements up there, for lack of a better term, between us and the sun that's blocking out the bad part of the sun, the worst parts of it. And if you strip away any portion of that, it's going to start to increase. And so whereas we already suffering higher UVC levels, if you start to take away part of our atmosphere, those UVC levels are going to go even higher. And so that's what it could be talking about. These people going to be out there at work, after the atmosphere has been stripped away. The atmosphere and I ain't talking about people that's going to work now. It's probably, they'll probably have some warning. So and let me start completely making up stuff. So you have part of the atmosphere is stripped away. But the people say we still got to go to work. And so after everything calmed back down, now they still get up and still go into the day. They got sunglasses on and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that in order to, go to work. And so they end up over time accumulating so much of this killer. UVC is a killer that it actually starts to damage their cells. And like I've said, it appears to me that it's like a after you realize what's going on, now you got skin cancer to deal with. And so it still takes you on out.
Right.
Unless, of course, you know how to pray or know somebody that knows how to heal your cancer or knows, that red clover, kills, whatever, unless you know something like that, you'll, in other words, you put faith in our Father one way or the other, it'll just take you on out of here.
Okay.
One way or the other, you're gonna do it. Either you gonna trust our mother, our universal mother, who is nature, and you put faith in her, or you're gonna put faith in our Father and His Word. Either way, as long as you trust Him, everybody calls on the name. But there gonna be those who gonna, somebody right now stocking up on suntan lotion. Like, this is all I need. Suntan lotion. I can buy it by the gallon. It's not that. And then to say if you survive that part, something else will get you.
Right.
And then they say, well, and then the same thing is true here. The affliction of the soul, if it's a multi-year event, well, that gives people years to establish themselves as affliction their soul. I mean, it's not just a one-day thing. You actually take on a lifestyle of charity. And then once, over the course of 2 years, you're giving. And again, anybody who does not do that, and this is key, if they don't give, they're not killed or cut off. What does it say? Well, no, it does say here that they are cut off. They're not killed, but they're cut off. And you see, okay, what does that mean in light of the class that we just did the other day? I know a lot of people didn't watch that class. They only like 8% of the people actually made it to the end of that class. Well, one of the things we talked about was how doing charity changes your ionization, basically makes you a vessel, a conduit for these higher level angels who want to come down and use you to help humanity. In other words, like I said again, doing charity is the key to all of that, we learned. And so right here, what it's saying is that if anybody who don't do charity over the course of these 2 years is not going to get this elevation. And so while everybody else has gone on to this higher mansion, this tower, the kingdom of heaven here on earth, we ain't talking about dying and going nowhere. We're talking about the transitioning to this new frequency that, you know, humanity will reside on after the pole shift, after everything switches. These people who don't afflict themselves, that do not do this over the course of this period, whether it is 1 day, whether it is 2.5 days, or whether it's 2.5 years, what they're saying is they're going to get cut off. They're going to miss out. And so what'll end up happening is they'll find themselves just like the other guy that went to work, you know, basically without angelic protections now, having to learn to fend for themselves. Well, we'll keep on doing more studies on it, but only time will tell.
If you guys have enjoyed this message and received something from it, we always are grateful if you share it, especially to those who don't know anything about it. You know, I guess, Coach, is that a form of charity? Sharing the videos and teaching other people, so that other people can be taught about the things that they know what to do.
Yeah, there are people who watch our channel who can't read. There are people who can't talk. There are people who can't communicate at all, you know, but they can push that share button and paste that thing all over the internet, or even their own verses. You know, they can paste verses and get the message out that, you know, not only is this thing coming, but our Father has a plan. And that plan includes charity. That's one thing we got to get out of this. We don't keep telling you, we got to show love for our brother. Literally do something. Do it. Do stuff. Let me see, what charity I do today. I said I'm going to start telling people.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean...
Well, some charity that was done to me is for, I don't know what I necessarily done, but we were out, you know, cleaning the shed today, and Clifford brought me a glass of water. I thought that was very nice of him.
Okay, well, that's a good example of what we're talking about. Just stuff like that, because you never know. You know, water is so key too, man. You never know. So for him to do such, that's a good example. All right, y'all, we're starting to get too low, so we can go ahead and close the video. Right? If you got anything out of it, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. But leave us a comment either way, and shalom.
Shalom.